Indiana to Alabama was a bit of a culture shock for me. That was one of the things I would say, something to consider. How are you raised? Where are you going? Like you're going to be on your own.
All right, Erin, welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so thankful for your time. I know we were just talking about how there are not enough resources like this out there. People do not have the information that they need. So I'm grateful that you are here willing to share your information. You played at the Division I level, obviously dedicated much of your life to soccer, a little bit of basketball too. But welcome. You can start by giving us a little bit of your player background, your history.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. This is so much fun. And yeah, I wish when I was going through the process, there was more stuff like this. So really, really grateful to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So my story, so like you said, grew up playing soccer. I mean, from when I could remember, I played basketball alongside of that as well. Eventually, when I was like a freshman, sophomore in high school, I was getting recruited for both, which was a lot. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, I could go somewhere and play both, which was an option.
Yeah.
But I just didn't want to do that. I always felt like my time was so split between them that I wanted to finally give like it the dedication it deserved.
Yeah.
So just decided to go with soccer kind of on a whim. I was telling someone the other day on my like adult league soccer team now, I was like, yeah, I could have gone to better schools to play basketball, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And I wanted to play soccer instead. So it made no sense to like, the blind eye looking at it. But
yeah.
So I ended up doing that. I played ECNL. So like showcases, all of that stuff. I basically stayed at the same club almost my entire career, which I was lucky to do. Yeah. I grew up in Indianapolis. So I played for the Indiana Fire, which was an affiliate of Chicago at the time. And had great coaches and honestly great advice. I don't like attribute any of, as you know, I transferred where I ended up going originally, but don't attribute any of that mess to what they provided. Like they were really great. But ended up just getting recruited. I believe it was out of a showcase in Florida, to a Division I school in Alabama. And gave me a lot of perks. It was great. Once I got there, I will preface it with this, that most of my club team growing up was like insane. Like they all went Power 5 and all of that stuff, which I did not. But so I was like kind of like low man on totem pole for that. But, ended up going to, a great school. I got a lot of my education paid for my freshman year, which was awesome. And that was a big thing that enticed me to do it and to tough it out for an entire year. But ended up transferring after my freshman year, coming to where I am now.
I'm really quick. So let's dive into, you get to that school and why did you have to tough it out? Why was it so miserable? Like because this is what kids don't know about, that this happens.
Yeah.
Not uncommon. So like, for the listeners, I want them to hear this.
So it was, well, I just say the number one thing is there was nothing wrong with it at all. I was just 15 when I decided to go there. And when I got there and I was 18, it was just not what I thought it was going to be, or what I was told it was. I would really advise listening to your loved ones, because they didn't really push it on me, but they did tell me like, I don't think this is probably the right school for you. But I just didn't really listen, which they were like very fine with. They were like, my parents, my brother was like, you got to do what you want to do. And, you can only do this once. So go for it. It was Indiana to Alabama was a bit of a culture shock for me. That was one of the things I would say, something to consider. How are you raised? Where are you going? Like you're going to be on your own. Yeah. So just keeping that in mind, for your, like, just purely for your happiness, like, where am I the happiest? It was just very intense. And and I just wasn't prepared for it. I mean, I was like, oh, I'm not going to a Power 5. Like, it's not going to be that bad. And it was that bad. You're like, yeah, I know.
It's no joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was the fitness a struggle? Did you come in fit enough for it?
Definitely not, which I was not surprised at myself for that, because I was never really one of the most fit. I was not fit in terms of testing fit.
Yes.
I mean,
you could game fit, but if you don't practice the
tests.
Yes. That is something. So players that are listening now, I want them to be like, oh my gosh, do not play around. The last thing you want to be stressing on is your fitness. Because that's like honestly something you can do all the things and get it done, and it's gotta think about it. Don't procrastinate that. Do the work. Do the work.
Yeah. It will just, I mean, they give you plans to, at least my schools did. They gave you, to prepare coming in, they would give you plans. Like, I did not follow those correctly, and I would recommend doing that. Yeah, because I mean, I knew I could play in a game. I could play maybe not 90 minutes, but I could play 60 or 70 like with no problem. But they didn't care when it came to, oh, you can't pass the test. So
I would do that. And then I would also ask, this is something that I did. So my first year of junior college was, I had played at a pretty intense junior college. Like, we scrimmage against D1 schools and stuff.
Yeah.
And came in injured, so I didn't quite have to do all the fitness because they kind of like tamed it down for me. But I knew in spring, everyone was like, spring is terrible. Spring is terrible. And so over at winter break, I asked the players who played spring, I literally said, what were the worst fitness tests? I said, give me all three of them. What were they? And it was, one of them was just a 3, 2, 1 like mile. Like, you have to run 3 miles, 2 miles, and then 1 mile. Like,
yeah.
And then 120s. I think I have to do 10 120s under 19 seconds at least.
Yeah.
And I literally trained those great for 4 weeks. I killed myself. And then I went in the spring season and I literally was like, this is a piece of cake because I prepared. Mm-hmm. So I recommend that. Ask the players who've been with it. Be like, what's the worst fitness test? Okay, let me go do that 12 times at least.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I felt like that was I didn't feel like maybe comfortable doing that, or which also should have been a sign of oh, I'm maybe not at the right place if I don't feel like that's okay to do. Yeah. But yeah, that's great advice. And yeah, I mean, that was a big frustration point for me, but it is something you have to do. So you might as well prepare.
Yeah. It's so much better. Fitness is one of the worst things to procrastinate.
Yeah.
It's the worst, because then it sucks so bad. It sucks so much worse. And then the times are tracked very easily. It's like, that person didn't make it. They were in the back. You don't want to be that person.
Right. Well, and I was blessed with long legs. So I felt like the ones, the 120s and stuff were easy for me. And then more of I don't know, I felt like the distance stuff, I'm a bigger person, was just more difficult for me. So I looked forward to the sprints or stuff like that, because I feel powerful and I had long legs. And so know your strengths, but also know what you have to work on. Yeah.
Yeah, you do not want fitness. Okay, so the fitness is tough, and then what else?
Just everything that comes with going to college for the first time. I mean, you're having to perform at a high level. You're having to, take care of your body. You also are wanting to experience life in college.
Yeah.
It's just a lot to manage. So I would just say get a really good group of friends on your team, whether that's, your class or just people you relate to, and really just ride it out with them.
Yeah.
Because I found that at my second school, but I did not find that at my first school, and it made a world of difference. So that's something I would recommend too. And just I mean, this is cliche, but just not stressing about it.
Legit. Yeah.
I don't know. I know that's easier said than done because I did it and or didn't do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're like 18 and you're a freshman. You have so much time to grow. So just don't stress about it.
Yeah.
You're going to end up where you are supposed to be at the end of your career, no matter what. So there's no reason to worry about any of that.
So at what point in your first year in Alabama were you like, this is not for me? I need to make a change. I need to go somewhere else. What was that?
Like 2 weeks into the season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say that's normal.
Yes. Everyone.
Mine just never went away.
Yes.
You know, like a lot of girls felt like that. And that was, weeks into the season. I'm like, I still feel like this is not right.
Preseason is the most painful part too.
Yeah.
So it's,
You're fine. Yes.
Yeah. Everyone hates preseason. Okay. Everyone wants to quit. Every freshman thinks when they come in preseason.
Yes. It will make you question why you were there, but
yeah,
you will get through it like we all have. But yeah, it just didn't feel right. Like in my gut, but my family, the way I was raised, it's very, you tough it out.
Yeah.
And like, you don't have to tough it out forever, but you committed to this.
Yes.
And we're going to do it. And then we can reevaluate. So that's kind of how I approached it.
Yeah. Because it probably it did build a foundation of fitness and like the level to then transfer.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. It was, I mean, I just remember I was actually with one of my old teammates from my second school last weekend, and she said she appreciated, and I really liked this compliment because no one's ever said it to me before. But she was like, I appreciated that when you came into our new school, like when you transferred, you never, like, she said, we wanted like the tea on why you left and like all of this, but you never talked like poorly upon where you were before.
Yes.
And I was like, I mean, there wasn't anything to really talk poorly about. It just wasn't a good fit. And I think that's a big differentiation. Like a lot of people think that a misconception is like someone transferred because, the coach was wrong or they didn't play enough or like, I don't know. Like it's a way to get out of something other than it just not being a good fit.
Well, they act like a victim.
Right.
Victim, and you were just like, nope, I stuck it out. I can make a change. Yeah. There's people that want to blame their pride. When their pride is in the way. Their pride needs to be like, oh, these are all the reasons. The coach was a jerk and blah blah blah. And you were just like, yeah, it wasn't a good fit.
I'm like, was he mean to me sometimes? Yeah, but like, mean to everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't personal. I've come to realize that, but that's something I would say too.
Yeah, true. Yeah, coaches have so many people to manage.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. I remember my first year at my junior college, there was like the group that just constantly talked bad about the coach. And then, there's always that, and then
the group,
it's like, no, we're bought into something. And then you have like the fake ones who act like they're buddy, and then they talk the most crap, and you're just like, I don't understand what's going on.
Like, can we just like play soccer? I'm trying to do.
Yeah, no, it's all.
That's funny.
Okay, so then you came into as you transferred, and what was that preseason and first season like?
Still a shock because you're in a new environment, but I knew I'd been there before. So less shocking. I immediately could tell that this wasn't like the same level of where I came from, but it was going to allow me more of what I wanted out of my college experience.
Nice.
And this is why, a piece of advice I would say is just, as we talk about like prepping for fitness, like it is never too late to start asking the questions of like what. And I mean, I do this now, like in my profession, like what do we want the ideal outcome to be if all things are perfect? And then like, what can we control in those questions to get there? And I wish I would have done that sooner as well. Like I knew I wanted to be in like a bigger city, which is where I ended up, I don't know why I didn't go to one in the first place. It just didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But stuff like that. So I ended up, it was just felt more like home. Everyone is more receptive of like me and my personality and what I bring to the table.
Yeah.
they were like just happy to have me there, which was amazing. And I mean, I was just thrilled to be there and still playing. So I think more of like the gratitude that comes with knowing, you know, not everyone would have had the opportunity that I did to transfer.
Yeah.
And have a second chance, sort of.
Yeah.
And like find another chance to be fulfilled.
Yeah.
So it was a turf field, like up on a hill in Nashville. We joke like it's another climate at the field than whatever it is in the city.
Yeah.
Because it's horrible. Like it was the hottest temperatures I've ever felt in my life. Because in Alabama, we were on grass, which was not as hot. You think it would have been worse, but
this will melt your cleats. Hot.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's brutal.
It was horrible. Like it was really hot. And I was kind of just like a physical shock to my system. I had never really experienced that. Learning more about your body and how it works, especially when you're, 19, 20, 21, like as a female, a lot's going on.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
It was just a lot of learning. Like that sophomore year was just like, how do I get into this and how do I fit?
Yeah.
But as I progressed, it just felt more right. And it was just like, this is where I'm meant to be. So
yes. And I want players listening to be like, notice how many times you said it was so hard and it sucks. Like that's so.
It's like
it's normal. It sucks for everyone. It's brutal, and so much of it was like, yeah, the coach needs you fit, but the coach needs you committed.
Mm-hmm.
You committed and willing to do the work and not price tagging it.
Yeah. So much of it is them just like seeing if you're gonna be able to not even do it like really well, but are you just gonna get through it?
Can you survive?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you see it like they I mean, even like, there aren't really, I guess some schools like technically have tryouts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but in tryouts, the biggest thing they do is fitness because they just want to trim the fat. Like,
right.
Who's going to quit? Who doesn't really want this? Who isn't mentally tough? Like, who is going to let the little voice that's like, this is too hard, get in and make them quit? And they want to know that. And you see kids drop off in preseason because they can't hang. They literally can't hang.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. And I mean, as much as it is physical, it's mental. I know you like talk about that all the time, but it is so true. You have to be equally tough in both. And I think like just the physical stuff makes you mentally tougher. Like knowing you can overcome challenges, you're going to be mentally tougher. I think there's some scientific explanation for that, but I just know that it happens and it works. So
you'll overcome challenge.
Like if you can physically overcome hard challenges, you're going to be mentally tougher. Like that's just
100%
how it works.
100%, because you're not gonna quit as soon as the challenge comes. You're like, you have a capacity to endure and stay in an uncomfortable position. But so many people are like, uncomfortable, get out, jump ship.
Right. You know that like, okay, I felt this before. Like I know what it feels like. Sit with it and like power through it.
Yeah.
It's really important. Yeah.
Ultimately, that's how you're going to build confidence. How you build confidence. And like, I mean, I would say that is one of my, once a player has chosen a school that they're going to, they know they're going there. My biggest piece of advice is get fit. Get fit. Because it's also going to give you an insane amount of confidence. It's going to give you a lot of confidence. And it's such a stupid thing to get in your way. To get in the way of your success of your career. Because it's not about that. It's about soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Really let the sprints be the thing that make you quit or dip out. Don't do it. Get fit. Put in the work.
So true.
Put in the work. Yeah. So once you played 3 years or did you at Belmont 3 years or?
Yeah, 3 years.
Okay. All right. So how did those years go? Like from start to finish? What was kind of your experience?
My experience was a gradual shift into enjoying soccer more.
Yeah.
Because of, some of the reasons we just talked about, just finding the right group of people and where you fit in, and building that confidence. So my sophomore year, we actually went to the NCAAs. We played University of North Carolina.
Okay.
In my sophomore year, yeah. Which was, I mean, it was, cannot believe we ever got there. Like it was kind of a joke. Like the games that we won to get there were just like God's thing.
Yeah.
But I came off the field, remember it so vividly. It was like 20 degrees. It was like November in North Carolina. And my whole family was there, and I was like, that was the most fun I've ever had playing this sport. Because it's everything I ever wanted to do was to make it to the NCAAs.
Yeah.
I was like, that is it. Everything on top of this is a bonus.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, well, it can only, get worse or better from here because I did what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Junior year, I felt like I just had a much more like leadership role on the team.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, she's been there, done that. Like, we can trust her. I think it was my fittest year was my junior year. So that was great. Like you said, it took a lot of
stress
pressure off. Like, it's so true. That was also, I believe that was COVID, my junior year.
Oh, wow.
So it was a little wonky. We played, went to the NCAAs. The next spring, COVID happened.
Yeah.
So we did not play that fall.
Okay, yeah.
So we played our actual season in the spring and then went back to back on my.
In 2021.
Yeah.
I think you played, didn't we?
Didn't
you play MTSU?
Yes.
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 This is so crazy. We were going to go play you guys, and I got COVID. And I think you guys did this thing where you wrote notes to the opposing team.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still got a note from like one of your goalies, and it was like the sweetest note ever. And I was like so mad I couldn't be there. And and I literally got a note from you guys, from your team. We were playing at the same time.
Yeah, and I went to, we came to MTSU twice because the first time we were there, it got like the field was flooded or something. And we just turned around and went home. And we were like, okay. But I don't know. But yes, we did cross paths for a second.
That is so crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't actually even realize that until right now.
Yeah. So wild.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, that was a weird year. I don't know. I had a lot of fun. It was weird, but senior year was normal. It was just like a freeing sense of playing and just loving soccer and being comfortable with the situation. Like, I wasn't in like fight or flight anymore. Like, you really just got to enjoy it. So, and I feel like my abilities continued to grow too.
Yeah.
I was playing with the same people again. Like, we were comfortable playing with each other, and getting into that kind of groove is hard when you have people leaving and coming in every year.
Yeah.
Another point is just being able to play with like, pick it up quickly. Like, how do people play? What are their tendencies?
Yep.
That's kind of why I always wish I played more like pickup soccer and stuff, to just be like, oh, these are random people and I have to figure out what their tendencies are, because playing with a lot of different girls is like hard to figure out and dissect and all of that.
Because you played with the same team in your whole club experience.
Right.
So it makes sense that would then. Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely makes sense. Okay, so for someone who, let's say there's someone who's in the recruitment process right now, and like they're on the fence between two schools, what are you like trying to hone in and be like, think about this, and that we want this to like land? I really think this is for someone specifically that's listening, and they need to hear what Erin has to say right now.
Yes, I would say to the best that you can, to your best of your ability that you can, think about when you are 21 or 22, what do you want to be doing with your life? And how can you prep yourself the best you can? And that's education-wise, that's the people you surround yourself with. That's like a big part of when I even considered transferring, why Nashville was a thing for me, because I was like, it just has things in the city that I would like to work in the future. Like I work in entertainment now, and it was like, that's a smart decision. Like I've always loved music. It was a big part of my life.
Yeah.
So like really think about what you like and don't feel like you have to go somewhere. Like if you're like, one is like, well, that just fits me better. But the other one's like, the other school, oh, people would be so impressed if I went there. Like that's a big deal, you know? Like I could be playing against X and Y person. Like that stuff, I don't consider it. Like you really have to think about your future self.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is a consideration too, and they might not always line up, but like it's expensive to go places. So think about, you know, setting yourself and your family up to like be financially okay, because I know a lot of girls that did not do that.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're in a lot of debt, and not everyone's getting full rides out here. Like it doesn't happen like that.
Almost no one is getting a full ride.
No.
Real, and people think that like, oh, if you don't get a full ride, it's not legit. No, it's very rare. It's so rare that anyone, and you can get a lot covered, but it's supplementing it with like financial aid and academic, and that's what people don't understand. There are so many other pieces. If you were like, the coach wants to be able to give you, but they have limited resources. They cannot do it, you know, and it's not worth going into. I mean, like I know people who are like over $100,000 in debt.
Yeah,
so, dude, play at a lower school. Like play at a lower school. I actually had an opportunity to play at like my dream school, and thank goodness it didn't happen because COVID happened like shortly after. In California, and they're like still promoting masks over there. Like it's tough. And UC Irvine, and they were like, yeah, but we only got like 40% or something like that. And the thing is, 40% in a place where living isn't that expensive, you could probably make it work. 40% in Southern California, you're gonna like, you can barely, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be insane. Yeah. A huge loan. And I was just like, no. And even though you like get offered the scholarship, sometimes you feel like, no. I was like, I am not gonna go $80,000 in debt for the next for these 4 years. Like I'm not going to do it. It just doesn't make sense. Cause then the school is getting more out of you than you're getting from it. You know? Right.
It's definitely something to consider. Yeah. And again, I'd like just listen to the people closest to me a little more. And if they're not actively telling you, go and inquire about their opinions, you know, because now, I mean, my family and like my boyfriend's opinion mean everything. Like I trust them. They know me so well. I wish I would have asked more of that stuff. And sometimes you're just so blinded. Like it's a big deal. Like you're getting recruited. You're trying to graduate high school. Like you can't always see clearly. So I would just get the advice of people close to you.
Yeah. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to go into debt. And
no,
even if your dream school, actually, I think I got that wrong. It was UC Riverside that had a minimal, and I think UC Irvine had like nothing. And they're like, yeah, you come and play. And I was like, you're insane. And then UC Riverside was like, we want you, but we got our hands tied. This is as much as we have. And again, was like, no, not going to do it. And I'm just, thank you God, because they ended up getting shut down for like 2 years there. It was insane.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was not cool.
I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, it was absolutely absurd. But I'm so glad. I'm so glad I didn't do that. I'm so glad. It's way too expensive. Unless your family has the money, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Whatever, you're totally fine. But if not, not like your parents are going to take care of that often. It's going to fall on you. You have to pay loans for the next 30 years. It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I remember she did not play sports, but it kind of put into perspective how blessed I was that I made a good decision and didn't have to do this. But a girl I used to work with, one day she was just like, yeah, I have this amount of money in student loans. And like, I was just like, I guess I just had never thought about it, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, girl, what? Like, it's not. She regretted it, but
I think it's wrong too. I don't think an 18-year-old should be able to make that decision and be like, okay, you're instantly in $80,000 of debt for the, you know what I mean? Like,
right. Because you're not thinking about it.
No, because you get told you're going to have a big job and blah, blah, blah. You know how hard it is to get a job that's going to pay above 60 grand out of college?
Seriously.
You know, it's not happening.
You're using all that money to just live. Like, you're not going to be able to pay it off.
No.
Yeah.
You get an apartment, you have a car, like so many things.
You got
stay out of debt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's going to be making that hard choice and saying, yeah, this school that I love and I've wanted to play for, but they don't have the money. And being able, like, that was one of the best decisions I made. I said, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not going into debt. And that was a really good decision that I made, and I'm grateful. And I want players to be able to make that decision for themselves too, and not dig themselves in a hole that takes a lifetime to get out of.
Yeah, I cannot say that enough. Totally. And I mean, I guess both schools, mainly the first school, I mean, it was crazy expensive, but I was able to get, they were like, we only have this much to offer you athletically, but it was a private school. Yep. And those schools have a lot of money and a lot of donors, and there are other things you can get from the school. Yep. So I would also ask about that,
Yes. Ask what
I want to come here. This is not going to be able to do it for me, but like, what else can I apply for? What else can I try to get and stuff? So there are other options that don't put you in debt, especially at private institutions.
Yeah. For me, I was like, as long as the tuition is paid for, it's student living is so cheap. And if you're on the team, you already have so many resources for food. They're feeding you all the time.
All the time.
You shake their snacks. Like, as long as you're not being dumb and eating out all the time, you pretty much won't even need to buy, like, any groceries. Like, you're pretty much taken care of. So then it's rent and student rent you can get for like $500 a month. Typically parents and family can support.
Yeah.
It's typically like those high tuition schools. I'm just like, if you don't have the money, don't do it, man. Don't do it. It's so insane. I mean, it's ridiculous what they charge. Like, I'm sure Belmont's a private school, right? It's probably an expensive school if not on scholarship.
Yeah. No one quote me, but I think since I left, it's now like closer to 60 grand a year. And I know that when I was there, it was like high 40s maybe, or 50. And that was like 2.5 years ago. So it is crazy.
That's so insane. Yeah. That's so crazy. And you think about how little, like, even if someone gets offered like a 40%.
Right.
Still left with a massive chunk of change. Like, that's not, that's just insane. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. So, and for Belmont, it was a weird situation. This is also something to consider, I guess. Like, Belmont is funded and is the point of the school for the most part. They're trying to change this, and they're doing a good job. But when I was there, it was entertainment. And very artsy, musicians, like playwrights, like anything. So a lot of the money didn't go to athletics, and it was more put into the pile for the arts and entertainment. So our facilities weren't as good as where I came from. It was just stuff was sacrificed for, what the school is about. So also something to consider.
That's so true. How big is the football team? Because football is money from like every program, but it's probably because it probably brings in the most money. But
well, we say our football team's undefeated because we never had one. But
awesome, love that.
But that is a good point. Yeah, like the sports that are going to make the school the money.
Yeah,
and what's going on there?
Something else that I'll say that I want players to pay attention to is coaches bring students on the tour. They have an intent to woo them a little bit, right? And they take them to the nicest areas, and half the places that they'll take you to, you'll never go to.
No.
You will never ever use the actual like school gym unless you stay for your master's and like use it. You'll never go. And sometimes that's the nicest facility, and that's going to be like, oh, and here's our rock climbing, and here's this, and then you're like, oh, this is athletic training room. You will never
all the time.
You'll never see that. You won't even have a need. But now I look back, being a 15 or 16-year-old and looking at those, like they take you through, I'll be like, whoa, that's just so cool. I never would have touched that.
I know.
Yeah.
That is a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're always like, the coaches are like sweet talkers is what they say, which they are. That's a fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they have a goal of getting you there. So, yeah. Very good point.
They're going to honestly have a higher success if you're more honest with players. I truly feel that way.
I do too.
I never had a coach tell me it's going to be hard when you come in.
I know.
Not once. And I talked to, obviously, I had a very interesting recruitment.
Right.
As you know. So I talk to, that's why I feel like I know the game well.
Yeah.
Coaches in different seasons of my life, like being when I was in high school, and then I did as a college recruit. So I talked, not one of them said it's going to be hard. Not one of them tried to prepare or anything like that. They're just like, yeah, so this is what we got. This is da-da-da-da. And I get it because they are trying to run a program. But, dude, I would have appreciated it. I mean, I feel like I went in ready because I already knew because I had the experience with my junior college.
Right.
Fit.
Right.
Other kids, I'm like, dude, they like some clubs don't even run fitness.
I know.
They don't even run fitness. So
I know.
So how to do fitness? They're like, no, just play games and practice. What do you mean? Like they don't know. It's insane. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. I know. I felt like honestly, my club was one of the ones that we didn't really do a lot of fitness it was like all of a sudden we like had every team doing a fitness test, but it wasn't strategically planned out where it made any sense. So totally experienced that.
See, it's coming back to fitness again. So whoever's listening, they need to hear, get fit.
Yes. You will thank yourself a million times later for putting the work in. You really will. Yeah.
And they have access. I have so if someone's listening, it's probably because they're in my soccer recruitment 101 course. Mm-hmm. They have access. If you're listening, you have access to it's called Elite Prep, and it's literally an entire fitness program. It's 8 weeks long. It preps you for a preseason, for a tryout, or for an ID camp or showcase. It's like, it's there. There's no, you have the resources. Go run.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that that's provided because it's sometimes just so hard to know what to do.
Yes, it is. And that's why I literally I don't need to expand on it, but I got so pumped because I was like, I built out the recruitment course and I said, whoa. Now I got to build 4 other courses to support the recruitment course because I think one of the biggest areas people struggle is with the fitness. Like they have no idea what happens once you get in there and just mentally being able to endure, knowing how to do that and be okay, I'm not dying. Yeah. But how often have you seen girls I can't breathe? I'm like, you can.
Yes, 100%.
I'm gonna throw up. So what? You're gonna still.
Yeah. you will not die.
Yeah.
You won't.
Yeah.
If I didn't die, you're not gonna die. So
you're definitely not gonna die. There's such a resistance around it, though. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Resistance around the work. I see so many players. And I mean, I'm working within a high school right now. And those guys just they don't know how to work hard. There's so much resistance and fear around doing hard things. And I'm like, dude, the sooner you enjoy hard work, the easier your life will be. Forever.
Seriously, yes. Throughout your entire life, it's going to matter that you did hard things earlier on, for sure.
Yeah, because after you graduated, then you had to go get a job, and you had to probably learn new things, and it was probably hard, and dealing with bosses and everything, and pushing through.
Mm-hmm. So 2 of my company's employees, they're going to be on full time, but they were still in college. They were interns part time. Obviously, graduating this weekend. And my boss was like, welcome to the real world. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Those words are just triggering a little bit. Cause it's I just felt like, yes, I was prepared. I did hard things and
Yeah.
Like, it's the same way. Like, I just feel like you can never really do enough, but you can do enough to get through.
Yes.
So,
yes. You're not, the only thing that's going to prepare you is the action itself. And
yeah.
multiple times and experiencing it. But there are things you can do to help set yourself up for success. I think a lot of people don't do that. They literally set themselves up to fail. And that's really unfortunate. I don't think no matter how hard someone prepares for their preseason's going to suck.
Yes. Yes.
It's going to suck. And that's okay. And I want the players listening, I want you to remember that. You're in it. It sucks. That's okay. That's normal. If it was perfect and wonderful, I would be like, I don't know if you're normal.
Yeah.
Something might be wrong.
Yeah. Something is wrong with you if you don't hate every second of it. But it's for a purpose. It really is. It's like when you get to the end of the season and you're exhausted, that's what the preseason was for. Like, you can do it.
Yes. I mean, like, we work out now. We do hard things now. Like, I think I talked to my husband about this.
Yeah.
Literally, like, the easiest way to do something hard every single day is to just work out. And that's why it's a part of our life. Like, because you have to have challenge. You have to have challenge and not be afraid of the challenge, not be afraid of the hard work, but be able to lean in. Be like, okay, this is good for me. I need this.
Yeah.
Challenge is good. It's necessary.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that is a key differentiator in athletes who are going to find success is because there are some people who are just like adverse to a lot of those challenges. Like, that is not in their personality and they have to work a lot harder to face them and to be excited about them.
Yes.
And that took me even a couple of years until I was like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? I love that.
Yeah. Like, it really is just like, you really have to get yourself pumped about it. And
okay, this is yes, I 100% agree because there's such a response. Like, when you're going up to do fitness and like, typically it's like a couple days a week, those are the harder fitness days.
Right.
There's the anxiety of it is going to be building. And it's so important. Your response to those feelings. Are you going to be like, oh, it's going to be terrible. Or you're like, whew, I'm pumped. I got this. I got this. It changes the entire experience.
Yeah. And I mean, I was always a person, I still am, like, I don't work out by myself. Like, I always have to have someone else. Yeah. So get some of your teammates, like, get your brother, even if they're like going to not do well on the fitness or something, just get them to be there with you.
Yes. Yeah.
If that is what helps you get going, because that's how I was. I could never go and do it by myself. Yeah.
And that's so, that about you though. And that's so important. And that's one of the first things I have in my fitness program. I say, find a buddy, find an accountable partner to do this with you, and like my best friend, Maggie, her and I, we'll just tell each other, hey, I'm going to do this at the gym today. Like, I told her, now I got to do it. Like, it's just the accountability. But I also love working out with her versus working out by myself, especially on the gym. Yeah, I'm like, let's just go together. This is going to be better for me.
Yes, it's so true.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that. That was a big thing for me.
Yeah. So you felt you said junior year was your best year in fitness, and then what happened senior year? Injury or something, or it was just like
no, nothing. I mean, I was close. I just felt really good my junior year. Yeah. I don't know if I can explain it, but yeah. I just was there. I was like firing on all cylinders. Like, it was just a good year.
I love it. It. You were enjoying it. You were enjoying it. Good.
Yeah. But yeah, senior year, still good, but got my best scores on everything my junior year. So
heck yeah.
Yeah.
So how many years ago did you graduate? Are you coming up on 2 or 3?
It's exactly 2 years.
It's so crazy to me because like we were both in this not long ago.
No.
And part of me feels like that was a different life. That was a different Izzy. Like, I don't even, you know what I mean? And I'm like, wait, it's not that long ago that we were in this.
I just told someone that yesterday. I'm like, I feel like I am a different person.
Yeah.
Which is a very weird feeling. But that's just because like we learned so much.
Yeah.
And now we're in a different part of life and we're learning so much and you're going to feel different.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's okay. Like you said.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And it's honestly, it's freeing. I know you've spoken on that too, that it's been like great since you left, started your life and everything. And there's much to look forward to afterwards. So enjoy it while you're in it, because you have the rest of your life to have whatever else you want, to build exactly what you want, because 4 years is so short. It's short. It's going to go quick, and you're going to get better if you're enjoying it more anyways. You're going to get better faster.
You are. Yep.
Yeah. When you're miserable, you just don't. You don't improve the same.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
Yeah, if we have fun, it's like little kids. They learn so fast because it's fun and it's a game. Mm-hmm. Remember that. Remember that soccer is a game.
Yeah.
We play games because they're fun.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that.
And I don't know the makeup of, who is listening to this right now in terms of, where you want to go to school or what your aspirations are. But for me, it was really just a way that I could continue doing what I love to do. Get a good education.
Yeah.
And try to be the best, like, contributing member of the world when I graduate. I know some people they're in it for like post-college playing soccer and continuing those dreams. And there's a lot of days I wish I would have taken that route as well. But I knew that I did what I should be doing and it was the right decision. But just know that like it will fly by so fast. It's a passing part of your life. So go where you will enjoy it. There's no point in being unhappy. So
it's too short and life is too short. And that doesn't mean there won't be hard moments, but you should not be miserable in your entire experience.
Yes, that is you look back. I look back with nothing but the best memories of doing it.
That's so
But
good.
I know there were a lot of days where I hated it.
Yeah.
It sounds so like it doesn't make sense, but that is how I don't know. I think that's how you should feel about it.
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of people. I think especially if someone does struggle with mental toughness and fitness, you will feel that way, and staying in that will benefit you so greatly, because otherwise it's going to hold you back in the rest of your life, because you're gonna chicken out of stuff that could be the next best thing for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm so glad I'm not mentally where I was when I started, because I don't know what I would have done if I didn't play, because I don't know how I would have grown like I did. Yeah. So
so one little practical thing for the listener who says, like, maybe they're like literally they're listening to this, they're walking to the field about to go do a fitness test, and they're just like, I get what you're saying, but I'm just like, what is the thing that you're going to say? Like, think about this, like something that's going to give them a little bit of motivation, maybe something that you said to yourself while you were here that might help them while they have to get on a line before they're going to go run till they puke. Putting you on the spot.
No, I think the most common thing I said was that, and not that I had said this from the start, but once I got into it, which I wish I would have been telling myself earlier, is that I'm sure everyone who's listening to this has heard this, but I really did say to myself that you are not being forced to do this, but you are making a choice to do this. It's like the get to mindset. And that was a big thing for me, coming at every obstacle, every fitness test with a mindset of gratefulness that I get to do this. Yeah. Because not everyone gets to do it. Yeah. Like, you get to play soccer, and a byproduct of that is that you have to be fit, and that's awesome. Like, you get to do this, and you will be able to do it. Like, you can do it. I don't know anyone listening personally, but I promise you can do it.
I love that.
And yeah, I mean, I said when you can ask like my teammates at Belmont, when I came in, I was just like, I'm just grateful to be here. That was just my response to everything until I said it enough where I was like, no, I actually believe it. Like it worked. I was like, yeah, I'm so grateful to be here. So yeah, like if you're going into something hard, you are grateful to be doing it. Just keep telling yourself that.
I'm grateful to be here. I love that. Changing that have to get. I have to feel I get to. I get
because again, scientifically don't know the specifics, but I know that your brain, the part that produces anxiety, cannot be firing when you are speaking gratefulness into your brain. It just two things cannot exist at the same time. So
I love that.
If you just start listening to things you're thankful for and why you're thankful you get to do it, you can't be anxious about it. It's not possible.
Wow.
So
I love that. Thank you. That was so good. That was a great nugget. Thank you so much.
It's changed my life. So
okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Erin. I think this was epic, and I'm hopeful that it's landing with the listeners for sure and adding value. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and this was so much fun.
It's always fun.
Thank you for listening. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, I would greatly appreciate if you could share this episode with 5 people you think could benefit from the show. Also, please feel free to connect with me on Instagram at Izi Chinchay or my website at izichinchay.com. Thank you so much for being you. Keep being a leader and making this world a better place.